Okay, we're good. All right, council. Let's go ahead and get started. It's 6:30 right now, so let's go ahead and take care of our roll call. You can go ahead and do that, Paola.
District 2, Alderman Richard Hughes.
Present.
District 3, Alderman David Emery.
I'm here.
District 4, Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 1, Alderman Miguel Aguirre, and District 5, Alderman Charles Gay are absent.
Okay, so we got two, but we actually have three, so we do have a quorum in order for us to go ahead and proceed. So thank you for doing that. Let's go ahead and move on, and let's, if everybody can please stand, we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and move on. And Zach, can just see if we have anybody signed up. The next item is going to be item number 4, citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue, any item on the agenda in compliance. Thank you. In compliance to LGC section 551.007, City Hall may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General opinion JC 0169. So let's see. It looks like BBD. Do we have anybody with this? It looks like everybody's here for some specific agenda item. Do we have anybody here that would like to provide any comments or to be heard besides what's already on the agenda? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay. Paula, if you can go ahead and show on there. No comments on item number 4. Council, let's go ahead and move on to item number 5, consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes. We'll go ahead and take a look at January the 8th, 2024 and January 22nd, 2024.
Viola, I have item 6B. The spelling of Rodriguez is incorrect. Then I have item 6G. It states that City Administrator Matthew Deere net with TxDOT, it should be met.
Okay. Council?
Mayor, I want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January the 8th, 2024 with the amendments as suggested.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve the.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Okay, Paola, if you can go ahead and make sure the record shows that Alderman Kate has actually joined us. Okay, let's go ahead and do B, consider an approval of the payment of the bills.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January the 22nd.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thought we were covering both. I do apologize.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Got a second? Okay, any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to B now. Consider approval of the payment of the bills.
Zach, where are we at on the booster pump project and the wastewater treatment plant expansion?
I'm going to cover those in my report later, so I can pull it up now and give you the details.
No, let's wait until we get to that point.
Yeah.
Is there a particular item in the bill that you have a question on, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, those two items, the dollar amounts, right? I mean, $76,000 and $55, almost $56,000. I'm curious, are those really, my question is, are those plans ready to get submitted so that we can, figure out what the project is going to cost us?
Yeah, so a couple of the projects are pretty close to being ready to go. Like I said, I do have specific numbers to provide you in my report.
Okay.
So, okay, yeah, I mean, we can follow up on that later. because of course that's the dollar amounts are what stick out for me. And, of course I want to get those things going. So we can talk about more later.
I think we all want to get these things going. So appreciate that.
Mayor, I want to start by making a motion to approve the payment of bills as submitted.
Okay, got a motion on the floor? Got a second? Okay. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, council. All right. Item number 6, this is where we were going to have the public hearing. It was basically for us to go ahead and convene an ordinance with the regulations of subdivision 6 with a B2, the secondary business district. So because we needed to go ahead and do appropriate notification on this one, we're going to go ahead and wait off on that. What I would like, and Molly, do we need a motion just to go ahead and table this until the new meetings are set up, or?
I would just recommend that we drop the item until notice has been given at the next meeting
Okay.
that it'll be at, because it'll need to go back to planning and zoning as well.
Okay, so you need us to go ahead and make a motion for that, to drop it, or just leave it alone?
Just take no action.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll just go ahead and move on to item number 7. Let's go ahead and move on to the open session, take action on the items discussed. The first one that we had was going along with the public hearing on there. On this one, I would assume we probably need to do an actual action on this one, right? Take no action? So, okay. You don't need a motion on that? No? Okay. All right. So we'll just go ahead and leave that one alone. All right, let's go ahead and move on to B. Consider and act upon a request from, is it Zambria Silva for a variance section 46-2762, use regulations of Division 5B1 Neighborhood Business District of Chapter 46, zoning of the city Lido Code of Ordinance to allow the installation of a wall signage larger than 12 square feet and to extend no more than 1 foot from the face of the building wall on the property located at 19790 Highway 35 Access Road.
All right, so Mayor and Council, obviously we received a request from the Pump House Car Wash that is going to be located at the address as described in the caption. They are looking, they submitted their sign package to the city, and upon looking at it, it is larger, several signs are larger than what we allow in our zoning ordinance. So currently for wall signage, there's not a limit on how many wall signs according to the ordinance. It's just a limit on the size of the sign. So basically says it can't contain any area more than 12 square feet. And then in addition to that, it also prescribes that it cannot, no sign on the wall can extend more than a foot out from the wall. And so as described in the data sheet, you have signs that are indicating for Pump House, the Express Wash, and the logo, that as well as 2 message boards that are all larger than 12 square feet as proposed, and the square footages are in the data sheet there. And then one of the electronic message boards as proposed shows to actually be about 4 feet 3 inches extended out at an angle, and so that would obviously be in violation of the way the ordinance is now. So they're seeking a variance to that. The owners are here to address as well, but this obviously would need a variance for the way they are wanting to proceed at the moment. So
Council?
So one of the questions that I have is, Molly, do we know if this in any way goes against any regulations by TxDOT, since it is on I-35?
I don't have that information. I think city administrator would have that.
yeah, so in my talks with representative from TxDOT, there's no issue that they're having in regards to the wall signage at this time.
And one other concern I had, Charles brought it up in one of the previous meetings, is the amount of light being emitted into the area, especially with the subdivisions now housing, I guess, on both sides. Is this sign going to be able to be regulated like in a night mode?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Please, please.
Would there be some type of a night mode, for example?
The sign automatically will dim at nighttime.
Okay.
And then plus it could be turned down even more.
And do you know if there's any regulation on how bright it could be and whether it's within the requirements?
There was a sign like in San Antonio a few years ago that was, it never would dim down. And so they finally made, I can't remember, it was off 281 and everybody goes, that's the brightest thing ever.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know what was wrong with that sign.
Yeah, we had the same issue with Parador just down the street. It was extremely bright. But I mean, looking at the documentation you submitted, it's appropriate to the type of building that it is. And I've seen other, pump stations that have similar signage. So I'm actually in favor of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charles.
No, I'm sorry. So the events of the week, is that going to be just pump house related stuff, or is that going to be, as far as advertising is concerned?
It doesn't have to be. No,
Yeah.
that's just what they put up there. I mean, we can advertise anything like ISD, City of Lila. We can do a lot of different things. It doesn't all have to be pump house. I think that what you threw up on there, that events of the week, that was just a sample, wasn't it?
Placeholder thing. I was just
Yeah.
curious as to what y'all would be having up there, specials or
We can. We will.
events around the city. Of
We
course,
can
we
do
got the sign out here, but I mean, that's going to a lot more exposure out there on 35.
Right,
Yes, sir.
right.
I mean, that was my question. Is Michael asked it if that was going to conflict with anything, that TxDOT had as far as. I mean, my understanding is that since it's on your property, right, then you're allowed to have an electronic sign. I looked into this a couple of years ago, in that electronic signs and the TxDOT right away, they're much more tightly regulated. So it's going to be on the building, and
Yes, sir.
school, city can work with y'all to maybe have some other. We got music festival going on, for example. We toss that up there.
Absolutely.
Mud
We'll
Fest.
have
We
to
need,
get with Sam on that.
I totally understand.
yeah, we need to
Sam
have
would
agree
a,
that.
we need to have a mud in. We need to have some tractor haul, get some vehicles filthy for y'all to get some
Mhm.
customers over there.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is just from my perspective, but what Michael brought up too, and we've discussed before with any of the signs, is just illumination at night. You're right next to the hotel too. So, we want to make sure, that I always remember the infamous, right? Eat at Joe's sign outside the window of your hotel, and it's flashing all night. So that would be something to take into consideration.
I did
But
go by there and there's no windows on the east side of the hotel.
perfect.
And
Perfect.
the signs are angled toward the highway anyhow, right?
Yes, sir.
So they're not angled out toward any housing development. We live right across from the football stadium, and there's nothing between us and the football stadium except that grass parking behind the primary school. Do you know they never turn the lights out at the football field at night?
They might dim. I think.
Well, they dim them down,
Yeah.
but there are lights 24 hours a day at the football stadium. So talk about light pollution. So my understanding is you guys are focused on the 35 and the frontage road because that's where your traffic and customers are coming from. Right?
Coming direct to everybody, plan it to the right for oncoming traffic, right?
Well, they'll be able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to see a light, but I'm just saying, going sideways where cars come in, is big bright.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No. And again, they auto dim. They dim down at night.
That's awesome. That'd be perfect.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we grant a variance from section 46-276, subsection 2, use regulations of Division 5B-1, Neighborhood Business District of Chapter 46 zoning of the City of Lidle Code of Ordinances to allow the installation of wall signage larger than 12 square feet and to extend more than 1 foot from face of building wall on property located at 19790 IH 35 Access Road.
Okay.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming by.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, when are y'all going to get opened up? What's the plan for that?
June or July, weather permitting. We're
I saw,
cranking over there now.
I saw y'all digging a big old hole and then filling it back up. Looked like fun.
What day y'all gonna do Dollar Day?
There you go.
We'll probably do either a free day or something like that first. Dollar membership or something. Started, we'll do something.
Hey,
All right.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to C. Consider and act upon the request from Martusa Doctor, and is that correct?
As far as
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Okay. And Amen for the variance of section 46-276 2 use regulations of Division 5 B1 Neighborhood Business District of Chapter 46 zoning of the City of Lido Code of Ordinance to allow the installation of wall signage larger than 12 square feet and to allow an additional freestanding sign and such sign exceeding 24 square feet in the area on the property located at 20204 IH 35 or Highway 35. Zach?
All right. So, Mayor and Council, similar to obviously the last item, but this one is for the new travel center at the corner of I-35 and Benton City Road, or 3175 there. Again, letters on the signs proposed on the actual building are larger than the 12 square feet, just like the last item. And in addition, they're looking to put an additional monument sign on the property. So this would be a freestanding sign. If you recall, back in 2023, I believe it was, maybe even a little bit before that, they came before y'all and got approval for a variance on the tall, I think it's 80-foot sign proposed. So Shell, who's actually going to be selling the gas, is not going to be on that sign. So they're looking to actually have the gas prices and everything on a secondary freestanding sign. The ordinance only allows for one freestanding sign, so that would be one variance that would be needed, as well as it only allows up to 16 square feet in height and various regulations. So it's larger than what would be allowed as well for that. I think it's not to exceed 24 square feet in area, and so it is proposed at 164 square feet, so it's larger than what would be allowed. So that's wall signage as well as the additional freestanding sign.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is new to the city, obviously. So, Mayor, I want to make a motion to approve the variance from section 46-276. Do we need to include the two?
I think it covers both, Molly, you think?
Okay. Use and regulation of Division 5, B1, Neighborhood Business District of Chapter 46 zoning of the City of Lido Code of Ordinance to allow the installation of wall signage larger than 12 square feet and to allow additional freestanding sign, such sign exceeding 24 square feet in the area on property located at 20204 IH 35.
I'd second that.
Got a second? Any further discussion?
They put in a Pizza Hut in there too?
That's what they show. I have not had that conversation, but so
Somebody posted a picture on Next Door Neighbor today that shows them unloading signs in the front of that building, and one of them is Pizza Hut.
okay. Well, there you go.
Any other items for discussion?
Am I understanding that this is approved?
Well, they haven't voted yet, but
Yep. Any other further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. All right, let's go ahead and move on to D. Consider and act upon the request from Kathy Garcia regarding charges owed on the January 2024 utility bill for the property located at 18545 Highway 132. Okay. Come on up, Kathy.
I will say good morning. Yeah, I wanted to, and I believe y'all have a copy of the water bill that I was given. Under normal circumstances, my water bill's about $30. This time it came on. Is it on now?
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
I can't make out that number. 25 $79 and 79 cents. And I brought, which I think y'all have, photos of, I know there was a water leak when we were notified. It was repaired the next day. And I brought a picture of where the leak was, which obviously is dried up, and a picture of the water meter, which there was no one home, but it does show it's not running.
Those were the exhibits that they provided for us. So the whole council got those.
Okay.
Yep.
And what I'm asking is it be reduced back to what would be normal conditions. Obviously, this is a mistake.
Okay. So just so we get a little bit for the council to kind of get a little bit background, can you talk about what actually happened? So was it you found the leak, or was it us that found the leak?
The city found the leak.
Okay.
And we came home, there wasn't water being shut off. So we called and they notified us there was a leak. So the next morning we had a plumber out to fix it. And that ran to, I guess, about $75 is what the bill came out to. And we just paid that. But then I believe that they indicated the leak went on for the rest of the month, which it didn't.
Well, the reading is based on from month to month.
Right.
I know that's how they actually do that. So, did you have any kind of runoff water? Did you notice anything?
There was nothing.
Okay.
I mean, once we got the bill, we took a picture of the meter, and it isn't running at all.
Mhm.
Do you live at this property?
I do.
You mind if I ask, all the information we got here, there was something about some court appearance? Can you?
I'm sorry?
A court appearance?
Yes, and those documents, that didn't get on the agenda. That was a separate.
Okay.
a separate
Oh, okay,
item.
because I was confused when I.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that was going to be a separate item, which didn't come up.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Robbie, when you guys found the leak, was it so? What did you guys notice that caused you to go ahead and turn it off?
Well, we didn't know it was her meter. We just thought it was water running. We thought it was a main break, so we went to investigate. We went and called emergency locates, had the locates show up, and then by the time we started digging, it started going up the hill, and then we found out it was coming from their meter. So I don't know how many days it was running like that. Nobody ever called us on it.
So where you found it down in the creek? Is that where it was?
Running down the, yeah, it was already down the hill, running toward the creek.
And at the creek, it was going in.
Yeah, it was running to the creek, so.
Okay.
Well, there was a hole where it had collected the month that y'all discovered it. We didn't even know there was a leak. That hole's dried up.
Yeah, the whole drive up this.
Yeah.
I went back and checked the meter, make sure it wasn't leaking.
Okay, and at that point, it had reached 70 something dollars,
Yeah.
79, I think. But the day after we were notified, we fixed it.
Yes.
And y'all have, I believe, in the exhibit, y'all have the plumber's bill.
Okay. Staff, anything take into consideration? Have we had any problems with any other meters or anything?
No, I think we haven't seen this on any other meters. Obviously, this is probably the highest bill that we have seen. I think we obviously captured kind of what our synopsis of what happened in the data sheet there, and Ms. Garcia is correct. She was averaging probably about $40 to $45 on average every month. And then December was slightly higher at $73, and then it jumped up to this $2,400. So, 25, almost 26. We did have Public Works went out 2 or 3 different times, did check the meter. Everything was running appropriately. It looked like it wasn't, there was no issues. We did shut off the meter when we turned it off so that way no additional costs would incur at the time we found the leak, which is typical process. And then the bill came through, obviously, at that 2,500. So we haven't seen any other issues that I'm aware of with any of the radio read meters throughout the city. So.
Robbie, is it possible that the water was running down into the creek and not pooling anywhere near the
That's what
break?
I'm saying, yeah. We don't know how long it's been running like that, and then finally started showing. You know, it could have been running in the grass before it actually went, to the road where we could see it.
Did you follow down toward the creek? Was it all wet down that
Yeah,
way?
it was all the way.
Indicated that
Yes.
there'd been
That's what I'm
some
saying.
amount of water running down that
Yes.
way?
That's why we don't know how long it's running like that.
Okay, but when we reached $73, y'all cut it off. It was cut off.
So this period, if I understand this reading the bill, it was between the 13th of December to the 16th of January, correct?
Correct.
So it was during the holidays. Okay.
Robbie, what side of the meter was on the customer side the leak was?
So yes, so the water flowing through the meter was good.
So, Ms. Garcia, where was that leak when they came out to fix it? What
It was right there at the meter.
was right at the meter? But y'all did not pull the meter
No, sir.
to send it off to get tested, because that's the only thing, if it's a faulty meter, right?
Yes.
But if it turns out the meter's good, Ms. Garcia, then you'd be paying to have that tested. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those unfortunate things. I think that the city cannot give away water for free, and unfortunately, I just had a leak myself a couple weeks ago. It was not as bad as yours. It was not $2,500, and I can
I
sympathize.
don't believe
that.
that's accurate because at $73, my water was shut off.
And then it was turned back on after the leak was fixed.
After the leak was fixed, that's correct. And there were no issues.
No, that's incorrect. Robbie, can you approach the mic, please, and explain why the meter was turned off?
The meter was turned off because you had a bad leak.
Right, and that was after it was reported that there was a leak or
Well,
there's,
nobody ever reported it. We were going to another job site and we saw water. on the
okay,
side of
because
the
the
road.
documentation says a neighbor had
Yeah, so a call was received by a neighbor.
Okay.
And I think they called Robbie to go over there, or called Pete. I
Well,
think
Pete was the
maybe.
one that told me to.
Yeah.
tell me
So-
about the meter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, at that point, the water meter was turned off. All I'm trying to do is
Yeah,
state that
like I said, it looked like.
you
a
may,
leak break.
you may have thought it was turned off at $74, but it actually wasn't. It was turned off once the leak was detected.
I have the reading, the notice that it was turned off. It was turned off.
So then what you're stating is that the meter, and I don't want to get too involved in this. Robbie, the meter, when it was red, it was an excessive of the normal amount. And it
I was already on the water.
it correlates to the amount that's being charged.
I just got off the back to see the meter.
Okay.
But it sounds like there was a leak. Your bill went from 40-some a month to 70-some a month because it was leaking. And that bill came out, but the leak wasn't fixed.
And it was fixed. Y'all have the document.
But there's a lag in the billing is my point.
As soon as we discovered it, it was fixed.
No, I believe you that, but I'm saying that from the time you got a $73 bill to the time the leak was found and fixed, and it was turned off as soon as the leak was found, there's probably a period of time because we
It
don't
was
get
the-
our, we don't get our bill
It,
the day they read the meter.
okay, there's no way this bill was, has an accurate reading.
So according to the meeting, the time period between December the 13th, 2023 and January the 16th of 2024, 1,786 units were being billed for that meter. And it does show, according to Robbie, that it did consume that amount of water. Okay. Unfortunately, this is the worst part of being a council person. We really cannot do anything about this. And it's even worse being a homeowner because this could happen to anybody. You don't see the water
I
pooling.
beg
You
to
don't,
differ.
in some cases, you may not even see where it's going. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. And Molly, can you please reiterate?
Well, so you can't use public funds or water. You can't forgive water usage for the benefit of a private citizen. In the situation where there is a leak, you can adopt a policy or an ordinance that allows the city with certain criteria that you would set out to determine if you're going to address leaks in a certain way going forward. That option for you would be an ordinance or policy that you could bring back at another council meeting, but it does have the option for you to have a look back period of up to 90 days. The parameters of that would be set by you. You can't just forgive the entire bill, but you can certainly determine what you would like to do as far as adopting a process to address these types of situations so that they're uniformly addressed across the board. Finding that being a public purpose in the best interests of the municipally owned utility under that code, you do have the option of having a policy. The city does not have one right now. So I would recommend that if that is something that you would like to consider, that you would take no action on this situation now and bring back the ordinance with the policy with the options for you to consider that you would like to implement. There are variations of how cities do it. I know the city of San Antonio does like a 50% forgiveness, but you have to meet certain criteria. You have to have timely addressed the leak. You have to provide proof of that. You have to have had that you can't just sit there and let it go on and then come say you want your water bill taken care of. There are criteria that y'all can set out that would address the situation going forward so that it's equally addressed per person, not just a case-by-case basis coming before council where you feel like you have no tools to address it. That's something you can consider. You can deny the request and allow a payment plan, waive delinquent fees if it takes longer than normal to pay it off. You have options available to you, but you cannot forgive the entire bill. That becomes an issue is when you forgive the entire bill.
Moving forward, you cannot forgive part of the bill.
If I may add one more thing, we were notified of the leak before the bill came out. We didn't find the bill and then call someone.
No.
We were notified prior to that.
Molly, so if we do put something like that, could you go back or is it from the date?
Yeah, you could do up to a 30 to 90 day look back from the time the ordinance goes into place. So if you wanted to do something like that, it would be able to be applied to this situation, depending on how long of a look back period you implement and how quickly you pass that policy. Yeah.
Well, it would need to come back and go through.
We would have to go pretty quick with that policy here.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a special case. That's a lot of money.
So we have that. I will also go ahead and add, because I was trying to remember right now, but Alderman Kate Charles is correct. I think in the past, I remember one time that we actually did advise the homeowner, if you like, we can send the meter to go get tested, but the cost would be incurred with the meter. And
we
then
developed the payment plan on that one.
Yeah, and if the meter comes back and says, hey, it's working appropriately, then the cost of getting it tested would go to the homeowner plus the bill that is still outstanding. So is that what you're talking about, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So Molly, if we did take no action, but we are not able to come up with a consensus by 90 days, is that what you said?
Right. The 90 day would need to be from the point of passage.
Right, and if we were not able to do that within the 90 days,
Then you could.
the customer would be liable for the full
Right,
amount.
She could ask to be heard again. If you took no action, it could be brought back onto the agenda to be discussed again.
I'm just wondering if we could get this done within 90 days or not.
I mean,
I think so.
We're talking about during council
It's
meetings.
not on
Yeah, I
the agenda
mean, I think-
tonight to
No, it's
enact
the
an
ordinance is
ordinance.
No,
now,
so-
I mean-
and
Right.
that is an option for you. If you take no action, you have the option of enacting an ordinance with your parameters that you agreed to set. It's
We can do that
uniformly.
No.
No, you wouldn't be able to do it
Okay.
tonight. But I think I mean, there's plenty of examples, right,
Right.
of cities out there. So, I mean, you know, obviously we can coalesce all that together and bring that forth. And if we need to make slight adjustments, but we would at least bring that forth at, you know, the next meeting or the following. I think that's pretty doable. I mean, between
Molly, would that
and I.
require any kind of public hearing?
No, it's the normal process to enact any ordinance. So it would require publication, obviously.
Right. And does that require a certain date, time, post to be before we can vote on it?
Well, it needs to be at your regular meeting.
Just regular meetings, okay.
So,
Mayor, I want to make a motion to take no action.
okay,
And that would address this issue,
okay.
to take no action for item 7D, B, D.
Do you want to take no action or do you want to table it for a future meeting?
No, I want to take no action because then that allows her to be able to bring it back up
Okay.
within the 90 days, correct?
Yes, or you could table it to the next meeting and have the ordinance and that on there, if you feel like you can come to a resolution.
No, I want to just take no action and then you can just
Okay.
come back and file it within the 90 days.
Okay, so we have a no action.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any further discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Molly, that leaves Ms. Garcia hanging in the air with a bill between tonight and the time we draw up an ordinance and come back and either approve or not approve the ordinance. So is there anything we can do to put the bill in abeyance until that takes place with no interest?
I mean, I think that's the understanding from staff.
Well, understanding and
Yeah.
words spoken.
Whatever Molly is comfortable with, but we understand that, so.
Well, it would be however you would handle a large bill. Are you allowed under the current standards to set up a payment plan?
Yes.
With the idea that she's going to be requesting that it be
Yes.
reconsidered. So that's something that can already happen in your policy.
And
as a payment
All
plan.
right, so.
Yeah, and
we
if you could make the
start-
payments.
Start a payment plan, start making payments, and then we adjust it accordingly after the ordinance is passed.
I mean, because the payment plan could be as low as $1. You know, I mean,
Okay, well,
Right. Well, because if
Can
you,
I-
if you had denied it tonight,
Mhm.
then she'd be needing a payment plan anyway.
right, yeah, sure.
Right? So you can start with that process with the idea that you're going to bring a policy to address these leaks going forward
Mhm.
in a uniform way. And then however that affects this bill, you can implement.
Do we need an amendment to the motion to take no action and allow the city to work a payment plan now, or?
It's already in the
It's already
utility
within
guidelines.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
and it's in the meeting minutes that we all shook our heads and agreed that that would happen, right?
so Ms. Garcia, I just want to make sure you understand the council's interested in trying to protect our citizens. We want to help.
Right.
You still may be responsible for portion of this bill. So anything that you're going to be paying to the city, that can be accredited to whatever the council decides in the future. But we want to make sure that you understand that we're here to help.
No, I understand
We,
that.
and that's, like I said, that's the worst thing that can happen to a homeowner. Something like that happen.
No, it is-
Yes.
No, it isn't, trust me.
Well, that's one of the things then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did want to say one more thing.
Uh-huh.
On the day that the water was shut off, before they shut it off, we noticed our water pressure had gone down. It just went down that day. It had not gone down days before or days after. It only went down that one day. So that would show that the leak increased only for one day.
Oh, Roger that. All right, anything else? Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so no action taken. We'll be on the holding pattern. Continue the process to work with our staff with the payment portion until we take that next step, okay?
Okay. And am I able to get my documents? Actually, it was a court document. That didn't go on the agenda.
We'll make copies when we have it, and we'll get it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to E, consider and act upon resolution 24-03, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, approving a proposal for engineering services for the review of Saddle Ridge subdivision Phase 4 by and between the City of Lytle, Texas and TRC, providing for the incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such agreement and providing an effective date.
Mayor and council, so TRC has provided a proposal for the preliminary plat and construction plans for Saddle Ridge Phase 4. So we were holding this until the beginning of the year, and so we're bringing this forward as just standard practice. Once if council approves, then they'll get started on the engineering portion of that, and these charges will be charged back to the developer. So.
Mayor, I want to make a motion for resolution 24-03, approval for engineering services, review of Saddle Ridge subdivision Phase 4, and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and TRC, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary. And what was the effective date? Would be today?
Today would be
Today.
Yeah.
Effective date of February the 12th of 2024.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
Second that, Mayor.
Got a second? Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Take a look at F, consider and act upon resolution 24-04, resolution City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, authorizing the submission of a grant to the Office of the Governor for Criminal Justice, JAG grant.
All right, so EMC has been busy putting together some grants for us and working with Chief as well on the next two items. So this first one is just authorizing the submission of grant to the governor's office for the JAG grant, and this is going to help fund, or we're submitting to help fund purchase of new radios for the police. So,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we adopt resolution number 24-04, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, authorizing the submission of a grant to the Office of the Governor for Criminal Justice, JAG grant.
I'll second.
Will that
A second.
will that be any additional charge to the city? Is there a portion that we're going to have to pay?
no, there's no on either of these. There's not.
Thank you.
What's the maximum amount we can receive?
Gosh, he just sent that, Mayor. Do you have that offhand? Somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Chief told me that they got Fisher Price radios over there at the PD, so he needs a new one.
I think basically we look at what was available financially and then we, for portable radios, so we got the number we could get with the amount we could get funded.
Yep. So let's see.
Richie, all these radios would be basically a programmable, we could adapt, Medina County's doing some stuff. We got our sirens on there too.
These are the ones we put in for dual band, so we would actually be able to use them for Bexar County, interoperability with Bexar County. So that's why they're quite a bit more expensive. I say Bexar County, but it's more interoperability. So that's why they're, we only could get for 60-something thousand, only got about 6 or 7 hand radios or something.
It's 69,000. So is what we're submitting.
Okay, but it'll do everything that we're currently doing.
Well, they should be able to do that and more.
Okay.
And that's going to update all y'all's radios that you currently have?
No,
Or?
sir, this is just portable radios. So the theory would be, do you remember how many actually on the quote? I mean, Matt had, anyway, it was about, we were actually ready to go for 10, but 10 was going to be above the limit. So we fixed it, we're working here. So I think it's about 5 or 6 portable radios. So basically, you know, you'd have plenty for on-duty staff, you know, and you'd have backups and stuff, but it wouldn't be a complete, it would be a big,
It'd be a start.
oh, yeah, it's start, yes.
Well, and I will tell you, in working with other cities, this JAG grant comes around
Bless you.
every year.
Yeah, that's my
So,
next question is,
yeah, I mean, obviously, no money's guaranteed, you know, when you're talking state and, you know, federal funds. But I mean, the JAG grant's been around for a while and keeps coming back every year. So, yeah, there'll be an opportunity to add on as we go.
Any other further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, all yeas. Okay, thank you, council. Let's go ahead and move on to G. Consider and act upon resolution 24-05, a resolution of City of Council, City of Lytle, Texas, authorizing the submission of a grant to the Office of the Governor for Project Safe Neighborhood.
All right. So, Mayor and Council, this grant submission is for the Project Safe Neighborhood, again, to the Office of the Governor, and this would be to help cover overtime expenditures for the police department. So, for this one, we put in $48,000. They're basing it off of years past, so you know that can fluctuate, but that's what they actually are authorizing for. So, the amount.
Well, Mayor, I'd make a motion that we approve resolution 2405, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, authorizing the submission of a grant to the Office of Governor for Project Safe Neighborhood.
Okay, got a motion? Got a second? Okay, any further discussion?
What was that, 48K?
48,000, yeah.
What was that?
That's what's being for overtime. So they're basing.
That's what we're.
That's what the request would be. Yes, yes.
Okay.
And this is also no local match as well.
is this an annual one as well?
Yeah, Project Safe Neighborhoods has been around as well, so yeah, it potentially could cover that in future years as well.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All yeas. Thank you, council. Go ahead and move on to H. Consider and act upon the resolution number 24-06, resolution for the City of Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of a contract by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and SC Lawn Services for mowing services and ground maintenance for city facilities, providing for incorporation and preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such contract and providing an effective date.
All right. So, Mayor and Council, if you all recall last meeting in January, Council awarded the proposals to SC Lawn Service for the mowing service and ground maintenance. And this resolution is just now approving the contract with them. And the contract term length is, I believe, the end of February 21st through September. So, but all that's prescribed in the agreement. So.
I thought I saw somewhere in there, Zach, that the contract is automatically renewing.
Yeah, so it does allow for automatic renewal, but obviously there's provisions if we feel like we need to terminate or anything as well. So
I want to make a motion for resolution number 2406, approving the terms and conditions of contract by and between the City of Lytle and SC Lawns for mowing services and ground maintenance for city facilities, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to the effect such contract, providing an effective date today, February the 12th, 2024.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
A second, that, Mayor.
Got a second? Okay, any further discussion?
Just a question for that. Based on Michael's question, this runs through September.
Correct.
If we take no action in September, it will automatically renew for another fiscal year?
Yes, it'll. So the contract shall automatically be extended and renewed on each anniversary date on the said terms and conditions, unless either party shall give 60-day written notice of termination prior to such anniversary date.
So we have from now till July to see if they're going to do their thing.
Correct. Correct.
But these are the same people who are currently doing it, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Any other questions?
Can we get them to trim up these palm trees out front of City Hall?
We can.
It's driving me nuts.
I'm pretty sure it's included, that's included in the,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess the other thing I saw in there was, they're supposed to be picking up trash and whatnot. It's just something that I've been noticing, quite a bit of trash. I mean, for you to talk, hey, look, there's
Yeah.
people say, hey, there's extra trash at John Lott or Community Center or whatever, just to be a little more attentive
Yeah.
to that, especially after events and stuff of that nature.
For sure, yeah. So I have a meeting scheduled. I wanted to wait till obviously we approve the contract, but I do have a meeting scheduled with them to kind of go over city expectations on several of our facilities. So that'll be something.
And for those, and Charles, just so you know, in the park, we do have an employee that is responsible for picking up the trash. So if we're having problems with that, we can also work that angle too.
Yeah, it's just a lot of trash. It's a lot of trash around the city. I mean, that's why we have a trash pickup. But how many times are we having that, David?
Twice a year we do.
Are we getting everything then?
No, because we don't have enough volunteers to cover
Yeah.
the city.
So I'm just saying, it's a lot. So everybody helping out, pitching in. And I mean, that's something in the future. More parks employees are probably helping that aspect as well. But
Understood.
Anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All yeas. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to I. Consider and act upon ordinance 24-05, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, ordering a general municipal election to be held on May the 4th, 2024, authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint election agreement with Medina County to conduct the general municipal election on behalf of City of Lytle, designating the places and the manner of holding the election, providing for the posting and publication of the notice, providing a savings clause, providing an open meetings clause, and providing an effective date. Zach?
So, Mayor and Council, obviously we have the upcoming election, and the Mayor, Alderman District 4, and Alderman District 5 positions are up. And so we have been working with Medina County to be able to host that election for us. So in addition to ordering the election, which this item does, it also would be entering into that agreement with Medina County. And that obviously agreement outlines the early voting and the election day, and it does have a cost with that. So, and the one caveat I will say is if we were to cancel the election, we're not on the hook for all 16,000 of that. It's just a little over 1,000 or almost 1,500 for that, which would be covered under what we've budgeted. The 16,000 budgeted, we only have 10,000 budgeted, so that's why the item was listed as not budgeted. So.
Are we renting machines from Medina County?
Yes, so they will be handling all the machines. We will get them the information to load in, and that's why the cost associated with it. But ultimately, it'll be their machines. It will be at the community center for the periods as prescribed in the ordinance.
Could we not get Atascosa County to work with this?
So we did contact Atascosa County, but there is a provision in the election code that says that in a primary year, a county does not have to work with municipal elections. So
Does it decline?
yes. So and Medina County was moved some stuff around, and they were able to help us out. So yeah.
How much would it cost for us to hold our own elections as far as slowly procuring several machines over the next, 10 years sort of deal?
Councilman, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty costly. I know we do have one, but it's for handicap, if I'm not mistaken. But
I mean, I'm just thinking from a price point moving forward, if these counties are going to be increasing what they're charging us, why can't we have our own machines and be renting them out to other people?
We could definitely explore the costs, but it's not going to be cheap, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, just something to not spend a whole lot of time on, but
yeah,
to consider.
And the other thing is, I mean, you have to also having the machines, but then being trained on to be able to upload everything and, the staff time that it takes to do that.
They'll be
Um,
certified.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot to weigh there.
There's
The
inspections.
alternative, of course, is to have paper ballots.
No, it's not an alternative.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
I said that's not an
Yeah.
alternative.
I move that we adopt ordinance 24-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, ordering a general municipal election to be held on May 4th, 2024, authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint election agreement with Medina County to conduct the general municipal election on behalf of the City of Lytle, designating the places and manner of holding the election, providing for the posting and publication notice, providing a savings clause, providing an open meetings clause, and providing an effective date.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll get it, Mayor.
Okay, got a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, if I could finish my sentence about paper ballots.
No.
Um, I believe last election, city election, we did paper. Is that right, Paula? Okay. Hear me out.
Yeah.
We used to do paper all the time. We did paper last time. And if the feedback I got is correct, Paula helped me out. There were problems with some of the, who was in what,
What in what district or,
right.
this was the problem, like, you didn't have the right people coming through the right district.
Okay, where did that fall apart? Down at the county or up here or where?
Are you on? Is there a mic on?
So,
Sorry.
Thank you.
I do not know, I don't know where the fall came. I don't know if it was, them or us doing it. I wasn't involved in the election, so I don't know much about that, what
Okay.
happened that year. But I know there was a problem with the districts when they
Well,
came in.
my point is in consideration of looking into someday buying machines, for municipal elections, we're gonna have a couple hundred people vote probably.
Yeah.
And thousands upon thousands of dollars for the machines. Maybe better to work with our county election people and get good documents up here and just do them by paper. It's just something to look at in the future, but I know that there were problems last time with the paper ballots.
I'm happy to explore options going forward, but either way, it's a lot of time and effort.
It is.
So.
and that's the thing, the time and effort and everything on there. And it's very important that we kind of make sure that we keep ourselves separate. I think in elections, it's always good to have
Yeah.
been operated independently, completely separated from in here. It just makes it a little bit better
Sure.
all the way across.
It was just
Yeah.
information.
So, but good. Anything else?
Yeah, I just thank Alderman. I was just giving you a hard time.
No, that's fine. I was halfway through a sentence and I wanted
I
to
know.
finish my sentence.
Okay. Well, we got one alderman that stepped out, so we got to wait before
To
we
vote.
vote. So. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and then take care of vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All yeas. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to J. Consider and act upon calling a special council meeting for the purpose of interviewing the applicants and filling the position of animal control director and/or authorizing the city administrator to appoint an interim animal control director until a new animal control director is selected. Zach.
So, Mayor and Council, we have received 2 applications for the director position. So we're obviously looking to schedule a special meeting to hold those interviews, as it is council's duty to hire for a director position. In the interim, though, because we have only 2 staff over there, and it's starting to really weigh and tax them on just their time. There was a suggestion thrown out that allowing myself to maybe approach somebody that not one of the applicants, separate of them, to potentially see if they'll serve as an interim director in that role until we find somebody. Especially being that we don't know when we're scheduling that meeting. And then on top of that, if those two applications don't work out and it's not someone that you would like to hire out of that, then we have somebody in place and we can kind of continue things going over there.
Someone other than the two people.
Correct. Correct. I don't think it would be fair to put one of them in that position.
Just want to clarify that.
Yes. Yes. So obviously that's y'all council's choice. But for sure, we definitely want to schedule the meetings, and then the other portion of that would be second to that.
Council, I would ask if, for consideration, that we can go ahead and give him the opportunity, besides us doing the interviewing, to get somebody else in there to help out. I think it's important for us to be able to get them taken care of. So
What dates we're looking at holding this special meeting?
Kind of left that up to y'all. I mean, I don't have necessarily anything in mind. I can make anything work. So
okay, all the notices, everything has been taken care of, right? So we're pretty much good to go.
yes.
Okay, so of course, next Monday is a holiday, so that would not be good. Would Tuesday the 20th be too soon for you? Would you all be available at 6:30 on a Tuesday?
I can make next Tuesday at 6:30.
Do y'all want attorney legal coverage for these interviews? If so, I would not be able to be here, but I could ask someone else to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But I have another standing meeting that was moved because of the holiday to the next day.
Okay. Do you have any dates here available that week, next week?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just not Tuesday.
Okay. Well, maybe we can have somebody else. I think the sooner the better. We can just go ahead and do that. So we'll just ask for somebody else to be here on the 20th. Okay. So we got the 20th. Everybody okay with the 20th? Okay.
And of course, I'll let Miguel know as well.
We're looking at the 20th at 6:30. Okay, so if I can get a motion for us to go ahead and set the date, the time, and also to allow.
I'll make that motion, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we hold a special council meeting on February the 20th at 6:30 in council chambers for the purpose of interviewing applicants and filling the position of animal control director. And in the interim, authorizing the city administrator to appoint an interim animal control director until a new animal control director is selected.
A motion on the floor?
I'll second it.
Got a second? Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Approved. All yeas. Okay. Thank you so much, council. Appreciate that. All right, K, discussion and possible action regarding the closing of City Hall for the employee work day on the 28th of February, 2024. Zach.
All right. So, Mayor and Council, we've been in talks with Frontera, which is our third-party IT, and Tyler Tech for the new server to go in place. They are going to have to take functionality of our existing Tyler Tech, so Encode that handles court as well as utility billing, will have to come down for that one day. Being that that's the case, we, in looking and talking with the employees, we were thinking that we could use that day to kind of clean up and get things, settled around here. So that way, because we can't take people coming in and coming through the drive-through as well to make payments and things. So we would want to get that in front of people so they knew we were closed if that's council allows us to do so. But it had given us an opportunity just to kind of clean up and get files situated and, retention of those files if we need to start getting stuff out, that we don't need to hold on to anymore, and just set us up for the next year. Correct.
They won't be
Correct.
open for business.
Correct. Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we close City Hall for an employee workday on February 28, 2024, so that the city administrator and the rest of the employees of the city may take care of the business that they need to take care of on that date.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion?
So on a holiday weekends, when the office is closed, the citizens are allowed to leave a voicemail, obviously.
Yes.
So what's going to happen? Are we going to have an alternate voicemail system where if anybody does call during these hours,
So under the current
they
phones,
provide
we'd
us
have
with
to
something?
reset. Yeah, I mean, I can talk to ShoreTel and see if we can do like a mass change on there. Obviously we can. So I've been a part of kind of these employee work days in the past in previous positions, right? And we've kind of told employees, hey, sporadically throughout the day, still kind of check your voicemails, making sure we're still keeping up with business. So we can do that, but I can definitely talk to ShoreTel and see about having some sort of mass voicemail change or system. When they call in, like we're closed today.
Well,
kind
the
of
reason I'm saying is because when we bring our servers down, we have landlines,
Yes.
Yes.
so they will be available.
Yeah, they'll still be able to call in,
Okay.
leave voicemails, all that won't
Then
be
that's the answer.
affected.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you so much. All yeas. Okay. I consider and act upon 2023 racial profiling report by the City of Lidle Police Department. Here you go, Richie.
Talking about water bills, we had a running toilet over there at the place. It was $1,100, I think, $1,300. So just a running toilet at the old building did that. So they can add up pretty quick.
It's page 151.
Y'all have it. Well, I mean, y'all have it. You've got the computers there.
Yeah.
Okay. So same report format hasn't changed any in a number of years. The state kind of simplified it a little bit. Some larger departments, they hire analysts and whatever, but our scenario, it's fairly simple to put the data in there. Again, we kind of keep up with this on a monthly basis. We did find we were about 6 stops, because if we do the stop, or if we do a report, like if I get a report out early and some tickets didn't get turned in, so we had like 6 or 7 stops out of 4,600 that we missed throughout the year that we didn't catch now. So that's not bad. You've had a chance to look at this. Some of the big numbers, of course, are the total stops. And I did have a deal where I had all the years in the past. And I still have those, but I don't have that in front of me. Really the percentage of stuff seldom changes the number of stops. Of course, during COVID, the stops went way down, different times a year, different through the years. We've been doing these since about 2002, 2004, somewhere in there. So I'll go over some real basic numbers. There's 2 forms. There's the analysis that actually, it's a state form that we fill it in and it does the percentages for us, because I guess we used to do that ourselves, but I guess people couldn't do percentages. It's one of the few things I could do. Total number of stops was 4,640. Now that includes let me see how they've got it done here. That includes your warnings, your verbal warnings, and your citations. It doesn't include that's not a citation number. So you could stop a person and then get 3 citations, but it's only going to be 1 stop. So that's why if you ever look sometimes on our report, the stops might be this number, citations are higher, or vice versa, because one person could receive 4 citations, for example. I thought it was real interesting. First thing, I'll try to hit and miss on this a little bit. Proximal location. So they have us break it down as a city street. Well, most everything in Lidle is either going to be a city street or a state highway. As you can see, we didn't have any out on the interstate this year, which it's got so hard to work out there with a cable and the increased speed limit. 2,300 on city streets, 2,320 on city streets, 2,311 on state highways, which is your main street, your 2790. So I thought that was really interesting how they were almost identical, I'll go down to race ethnicity. I'll go over and cover that in the analysis because it's got the percentages, which makes it a little easier there to look
Richie,
at.
before you proceed,
Yes.
I just asked a simple question.
Go ahead.
The second thing here was the race or ethnicity known. You have no. How do you find out? Do you ask them?
No, that's talking about prior to the stop.
Yeah, but you report how many are from native Alaskans and et cetera, et cetera. Who determines what race they are? Is there something in your
No.
process?
Well, there's no way. So if you'll look on a Hispanic person looks on their driver's license,
Mhm.
it's going to say white, right? I mean, that's what they. I mean, so basically, it's just there is no. I mean, it's almost if a person wants if a person and we've had people tell us I'm multiracial or whatever. Well, I don't have any way of knowing that. I don't want to get in some kind of weird sticky dealer, but the reality is pretty much it's based on
What you see.
well, what you see, or if the person's obviously, if a person is African American, or the term they use, some of these back and forth, it's black as opposed to African American. That's on their license, so it's going to
And
clearly show.
that's all I was going to ask,
Okay.
Richie. Some of this is probably coming out when you run the DL, right?
Some, yes,
And the driver's
some.
license, and it
But
pops up.
Asian Pacific Islander, some of that stuff pops up because this is what the state and theirs doesn't comply with everything. I mean, theirs doesn't comply with what some states have, like 10 different things. For example, you can, nowadays you can be about anything. So could you miss a person who, appears, it's not just, obviously you can't use it on a name or something, I mean,
Generally, how do you get these numbers? How do you determine that two were Alaskan?
that's really, I mean, if I stop Molly for speeding, when I write her a ticket, I'm going to put on there, white non-Hispanic, white non-Hispanic. Her name is Molly Solis.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You need to be careful what you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you. This
Well,
is
you
not
could say
data
you go
that's-
based on what the driver's license. reports.
Well,
It's
but the
based on the
problem
driver's
is
license.
they're all.
That would be a safe.
What does your driver's
comment.
license say on it?
Yeah.
Does yours say? What is yours? I mean, I don't know.
Well, when you pull up the record, it actually doesn't it have the information on there when you bring it up on the laptop?
Because you don't necessarily bring it up on a lap. You give me, if he gives me his ticket, I'm going to go off his lot, what he says on his driver's license. What does it say? Does it say?
Oh.
Oh, this is expired.
Somebody's gonna be waiting for you outside the door.
So then that's what it's saying. It would have something on the return.
Yeah.
I have to actually look at our policy to tell you this. That's an excellent, but I mean, that's where,
Well, here's my point, Richie. These are great numbers. There are a lot of numbers here. This is mandated by the state, and you've come up with numbers.
yeah.
How do you know?
It just brings it up.
That's my question. When they stop someone at 2 a.m. out here, how do you know if he's any of these or some other category?
It's, if I have the law, and I don't know if I have the policy in front of me, and that might be part of why I've never had that question brought. Good point. Basically, I think it's an officer determined, part of it's the officer determines the best their ability. Right?
So it's visual. And if there's a question, are you a Native American? They would ask them that? Or?
Well, some specific will show on a license.
Okay,
Some specifics will.
got it.
Yeah.
So, no, but that one question is prior to the stop. That's if I see a car speeding, then I don't know what, right? Normally, even on a registration sticker, you have to understand, if I'm working registration stickers, I'm not looking at the driver. I'm looking at the sticker. I don't know, when I turn on that vehicle, I don't know whether I'm pulling over.
Well, no, I get that.
Yeah, but so that's just what I'm going to tell you. It's to the best of the officer's ability, and that's probably about the only way it's ever can be done.
Okay.
Because,
I'm just
yes,
curious,
that's a good point. Because a lot of times people don't have driver's license. You still have to find that. You still have to use that data. The officer still has to put something in that box.
Okay.
Now, could they be wrong? I mean, yes. I mean, obviously, because you're only doing it because without, I guess, some sort of a DNA test, I probably couldn't. Yeah, and sometimes people are really odd or they don't want to answer. And then I think if they don't answer, the officer's supposed to just put to the best of their ability.
Okay, well,
Does that make a little sense? I wasn't
Well,
actually
no,
prepared. I will tell you, I was not prepared for that question. I've never had that question asked to me, and it's an excellent question. And if I had the policy in front of me, which
Yeah.
if I'd have been asked the question before, I would already be prepared for it. But so good point. But that's what it comes down to is it's a determination based on a number of factors.
Chief, have your officers ever misgendered anyone or called them the incorrect pronoun?
This is going south quick.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the numbers.
But
I would
yes,
just-
that
I
has
would just
happened.
keep
See, I mean,
going.
there you go. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, right? Is to compile those numbers. So they go to the best of their ability.
Yes, because I mean, it's yes.
Richie, just take a look at the extraction stuff when you run the deal.
Well, I don't run it. I don't like me. I'll run it on the phone and on the radio, and they don't really tell you. I mean, they might tell you, but I don't remember. Again, I'm
guess
not the one to ask
my
right
whole
this
reason
second
for
because I don't
asking
know
the
that.
question, the state requires this information. You give them the information. Who knows how it's used? Is any city going to say, yes, we look at everybody's, we see them going by and there's a colored face, so we're going to stop them. Nobody's going to say yes to that. And if it's just an arbitrary, for example, our former president, Barack Obama, his mom and grandparents are all white. Okay. But he said, I'm the first black president. Why didn't he say I was the first black president? You see? So if you see a guy who looks black, you're going to say he's black, but he may identify as white.
Yeah.
So the numbers, I'm just saying, I'm sorry you guys have to do it. I guess that's
Well,
what I'm saying.
this came, the background on this came from, actually, I think a lot of this came from the East Coast, state police on the East Coast profiling Hispanic and black drivers doing narcotics interdiction.
Yeah.
That's where this came from. This never came from, a little town, that's basically just doing what most little towns do. Because if you had officers, the bottom line is this to me means nothing. If you had officers that were racially profiling people and doing inappropriate things, that's what you'd be dealing with, not piece of paper with numbers, I mean, so, but yes,
Let's go ahead.
man, a
and
good
move on.
question, David.
I'm
You don't have any more, I hope, because that one got me.
No.
I wasn't prepared.
Take a deep breath and go ahead.
The point of this is to show that the police department is in compliance with state statute under the Code of Criminal Procedure, that they do have a racial profiling policy as required by state statute, and that they are reviewing this data annually to identify if there's any improvements they can make in their practices and policies to make sure that they are being fair in regards to motor vehicle stops. So that's what the data is supposed to be used for, and they are required annually to report it publicly in this meeting. And they do have the policy on file, and if you do want to read it, review it, you definitely should, because it is a policy of your city that's been adopted and implemented by the police department.
Well, in the city, whatever we came with it, but like I say, it's on the website.
Yes.
But that's a really good question, man. Gosh, I wish somebody else was here. Because now you got me thinking about something. But anyway. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to go to so a lot of this meat of this has to do with whether you search people and find contraband. Out of all those, let me go give you some numbers here a little bit. Out of 4,640 stops, we only conducted a search on where's my numbers here? I'm sorry.
It's right there. Said
84 was searched and conducted 84.
Mm-hmm.
So, that tells you we're not out there running a big interdiction unit. So you got 84 stops. Of those, you had 22 white, 59 Hispanic, 3 black. And, you look at the percentages over here, and that's kind of what a lot of this stems from was the stops. And
but you had a large number of stops. It was just
yes,
whether or not you
yes,
searched.
you just don't search many.
Yeah.
And the searching is normally what generated the racial profiling requirements. So, that when you look at the percentages on searching, I've just looked at it. 3.57% black, 26.19% white, 70.24% Latino, which is fairly consistent with our takes wrong with that number? Which is fairly consistent with, there's a big number on here that I do not understand, that 68.5556%. Oh, looks like we missed a digit on that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that and amend it. If you'll go to page 3, there's the number's too large there. I've made an error there. Danny got the data, and I looked over this, and so did Matt, but I did not catch that percentage. Is it? Yeah, it's on the analysis page. I'm sorry. The correct numbers would be on the racial profiling report. Let me find that real quick. Gosh darn, I had all this, and I went through it, and Matt looked at it too, and Danny looked at it, and I still missed that big number there. That was on incident to arrest. Yeah, incident to arrest. Let me look at that real quick, and I'll tell you what happened there.
Basically, what you're trying to say is just basically the search portion, not a large number based on anything.
That's fine. I made a little error over here, and it threw the numbers way off. Is that under the? Because these don't work actually exact same. It's incident to arrest, and the numbers I actually did boxes, and I got too many numbers in one of the boxes. That's how you get the 6,800%. You see that? I'm sorry. We looked through this. I can get. Yeah. Yeah. How would it even print that? It's a typo in there somewhere. So anyway, I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I just amend it. Yeah, it's just, I'll amend it with a correct, figure out where I messed up on that in the morning. But I mean, if you go to just percentage of race ethnicity, that's always a number people like looking at, 0.04%. This is total stops. 0.04% Alaska Native American, 0.26% Asian Pacific Islander, 2.22% Black, 22.0% white, 75.47% Hispanic, and another question was always, well, what is the percentage of the what is it right now the population you serve? Well, I mean, even if you look, I don't know what Lytle current numbers are. I mean, it's probably 70%. What does it show? 70-something% Hispanic, I think 70 normally, but we're focusing on the population of Lytle. This is a whole, just a general of whoever comes here, I would say our citations with residents of City of Lytle, I would say if we write 5% of the citations to people that live here, that would be probably a lot, 5 out of 100, maybe 7-8%, I would think.
Richie, some of these arrests that you have on here include those because I always, in your weekly updates, a lot of these folks that had warrants out for their arrest, right?
Oh yeah, you get some warrants.
So some of these are automatic. It's not because you found some or nothing that they did. It was because they had something already out there, right? Yeah. So they would count on there.
Yeah, all that comes into it's good numbers, but it's I mean it's neat. It's neat to look at, but I don't know. I can't really tell you what it means, other than I go by complaints, and we haven't had any complaints, which is also part of the report. I have to report we didn't have any complaints. I have to report that the new thing they added was, the new thing we added was their injury, serious injury, was physical force resulting in bodily injury used during the stop. That's a new thing in the last several years, but we didn't have any of those. That would be, well, that could be a lot of things, but serious injury is, fairly serious. I mean, it requires, that'd be almost like somebody having to be shot or, seriously, more beyond just, but we don't really have traffic stops or result in that kind of stuff anyway. Okay. Do you have any questions besides David? No, anyway.
Anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you, Richie. Appreciate it. Thanks for doing that.
Out where my error is.
All good. All good.
do have to accept the report, so it's a motion.
Yeah.
Mayor, I move that we accept Chief's report on racial profile for 2023, Chief,
Yes.
for the 2023 calendar year.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Got a motion for us to go ahead and accept the report. Got a second. All those in favor, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Go ahead and approve. Okay, we are at 7:55. Let's go ahead and take a break and we'll come back and go ahead and continue on. Okay, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. 7:55. All right. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Paula, if you can go ahead and show us back at 8:08. And we're going to go ahead and continue on our action items, and we'll go and move on to M, discussion and possible action regarding establishment of a railroad quiet zone within the city of Lytle. Alderman Kate.
Thank you, Mayor. This item came from thinking of ways to improve our downtown. As we all know, of course, the railroad, I've heard it a couple times since we've been here tonight even, but, we have on average, I don't think you made it into the packet, but on average, there's about 20, oh, you got the map? This is an outdated map that I found online for UP for the volume. Yeah. How did you get that? Did you find the source one? So, I mean, you could see on the map that Zach just handed out between Laredo and San Antonio, on average, in 2003, we had 18 trains a day. The most updated information that I saw from the Federal Railroad Administration is that we had 20. Just saw an article last week that Mexico is our biggest trade partner. So I anticipate that we're never going to see less trains coming through. And in fact, we're probably going to see more. Just to clarify, I think in what Zach had sent out, there was probably some miscommunication on my part because I was curious on, well, how do we do this? And the city is the only entity that can initiate this process. So based off what the council wants, the council decides in coordination with the railroad, text out in the Federal Railroad Administration. That's who we work with to get it implemented. And of course, there are some costs. The calculator that I found online was saying about $570,000. Everything that I've read is that, of course, once you get a diagnostic team out here to assess the situation, they're going to make their own recommendations. And one of the most common ones is, of course, for crossings to be closed. Right now, we have 6 public crossings and we have 2 private crossings in the city. So just a little quick tabletop math on the number of train horns that our residents and visitors are exposed to daily. You know, the trains are required to have 2 long blasts, 1 short, and 1 long blast. And that's something that they implemented back in 2005. So you take that number, multiply it by the trains daily. We have 233,000 train horns in Lytle per year. The FAA says that anything over 65 decibels it damages our hearing, whether we know it or not. I know I have hearing damage just from working on the flight line. David probably does too. But I think if we want to improve the quality of life for our residents, that this is a good option to look into. Now, of course, money is always an issue, right? In doing some research on this, I saw where last year there was approximately $600 million available to help with these crossings, to either eliminate them or improve them. There's currently not a program that exists to offer any grant money, but everyone I've spoken with, I had a nice conversation with the former city attorney up in Irving, Charles Anderson. He helped get Irving's quiet zones implemented about, I think 18, 19 years ago. But he said the quality of life improvement is noticeable. And I also had a nice conversation with the engineer with the Public Works Department in Eugene, Oregon. And based on those conversations, their best estimate is this is something that takes 3 to 4 years to get implemented. It's not something that happens overnight, but it's definitely something that I think is worth exploring for the sake of our residents and our visitors in order to improve the city. And only we have that power to do so, to make that decision. Thank you.
Council?
What was that 600 million you were talking about? That's not a part of a grant?
That was a grant program that was made available through the Infrastructure bill that they passed a couple years ago. It was to remove at-grade crossings or to improve them.
But is it currently available? Or it
No,
was
it's not currently available. And I say that just to give an example of, there are grant money, there are grant programs that appear, but we would need to have a plan in place if that money were to become available again. We'd have to, hey, the deadline's in 2-3 months. We need to be ready to submit something at that time.
In lieu of a grant, though, it would all be up to us to fund it, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And in that calculator, the cost estimate, but you saw the safety reduction, right? And the secondary safety measures is what they're called. Right now, all of our crossings, they just have the 2 arms. The standard to really prevent people from getting into that intersection is a quad gate system. So you can't drive around the arms. Raised medians or another option that's less costly, so people can't hop the curb and go around them, sort of deal. There are a variety of things, and of course, I'm no expert, but I guarantee the experts will come in and say, hey, this crossing would benefit most from quad gates. This one we would recommend to close. This one, raised medians, deflectors, and so on. I think the other option is turning crossings into one-way streets as well. But, right now we don't have a crossing in this city really that is safe for pedestrians to cross. I think that's probably the biggest one. And looking at, we got that sidewalk program, the sidewalk grant over there in proximity, and we had to kind of scale that back because we were getting within 200 feet of that crossing on 2790. So the timeline on coordinating with the railroad on something like that is at least 2 years minimum. So if we say, well, yeah, we want to have an improved crossing, we want to have a pedestrian crossing at 2790 or Somerset or Prairie or wherever we want to put it at, we need to have all our ducks lined up. So whenever that money does come available, we say, hey, look, we have a project. We have a project that will immediately benefit the city. But as far as, lining up the meetings and getting folks out here, it's time consuming. None of us may even be on the council in 4 years, sort of deal. But I think it's something long term. Long term, the city probably should have done it 19 years ago. Really, because prior to that, railroads, their train horns were not as loud. And the change made in 2005 was, of course, that the train horns would be between 100 and 110 decibels. And that's what they are. Just looking at the map, we have 6 places of worship that are within 1,000 feet of the railroad, 3 daycare centers, all of our city parks, every business and resident located along 132 Main Street, Adams Street, and Railroad Street. The entire neighborhood of Coal Mine is affected by this. And the Lytle primary school even gets within that range of where it's like, hey, this is harmful for kids' ears.
Let me probe a little more because you've done this research, obviously. So if we want to move forward with this, we don't need $500,000 right now.
No, sir.
There would be engineering involved, and there would be some other things. Here's an idea. We have our budget procedure coming up here pretty soon. This is brand new, so obviously it's not in the budget. Could we delay any action on this now, bring it up in the budget cycle? That gives us another couple months to look into a timeline. For example, we need $40,000 to get started with some engineering studies, and that takes a year to do it. So we put $40,000 in the budget this year to start with the engineering. And then you said it takes 3 to 4 years to do all this. We can budget this out year by year as we progress through the procedure to get it done. Is that something that would make sense?
I mean, that does make sense. I mean, long term, David, and I think that's an excellent idea to pay for it. I think the first step, of course, is this something that we want to do? Does the council think that this is something worth pursuing? And like you said, initially, there are no costs. I think the next step would be to have the city administrator reach out to the railroad, to TxDOT, to the FRA to see what it's going to be, because that's going to take some time as well. So to set up stuff, hey, look, we're trying to budget it. Can we have someone come out here in May or June or whenever we have our first budget workshop sort of deal?
Yeah, because I'm sure that they do this for cities, so they must have some kind of a timeline that they work with the city. So if it's going to take more than a year.
So let me go ahead and provide a little bit of background. And I understand where you're coming from with the budget, but remember, the other reason that we did the budget priorities is so we don't get them too busy on things that we want to prioritize. So we don't keep going out and looking for things, so we can keep them focused on what we need to do. So in a sense of the list, but give you a little bit of background. Back in 2016, 2017, when I was first starting to help out with the city council here, and the mayor asked me, this is one of the things that we looked into, to the quiet zones. We had UP come out and take a look at it. They were estimating the cost for the city would be approximately 100 grand. 100 grand. That was back in 2016, 17 per crossing. That did not include the engineering that went along with that. So after that discussion, one of the priorities that we said is that we wanted to go ahead and take care of 2790 crossing so we could put a light. Zach has joined me in meetings. Richie has joined me in meetings. That is already on the list with TxDOT for them as they expand with the sidewalk projects and coming into the other area. There's certain things that they're going to do in that area to go ahead and help us out with that crossing. That's the busiest crossing. That's the one that we need to make sure that we have some sort of light, just because of things that happen around that area, and also the traffic that gets backed up that blocks Bloom Drive being able to get out. So I just want to let you know, some of this stuff has been looked at before. And by the way, the council back then decided not to, because that was too much money to be investing at that time. So so it has come in front of council before. And we looked at it. But right now, what we currently have is we do have TxDOT and UP working on the crossing of 2790. So we could go ahead and figure out lights, everything that goes along with that. The other discussions about the silence, I will tell you that the council back then did not want to close any crossings. Matter of fact, when we had the railroad accident here, that was one of the things that the UP came to the city. Richie, you were here when that happened. What did the council say?
UP wanted to close the one crossing on Benton Street, and in return, they would spend what it would cost to rebuild the crossing. They would spend on decorative lighting and like a fence so to make parking along the right of way. But the council did not want that. They wanted the crossing back. Now, I'm going to throw this in there about this. I was told when we did that years ago that if you close the crossings, the city has to accept some liability from the railroad, and that incurs, additional insurance coverage you have to buy. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's still true or not.
Yep.
That's
So
another issue.
yep. So there was multiple things. So this was looked at. I think it's a great idea, Charles. I think we need to go ahead and it's up to you to decide. But I think we put it on the list to go ahead and get prioritized, and whether or not we're going to go ahead and do the things. I want to make sure that we keep the staff focused on the things that we need to focus on right now. But the council before already looked into this.
And you know what, though, Mayor, I'll say that was a mistake for not closing that crossing at the time, because UP was going to put parking down there, right, Richie? That's what you said? And that's what we need downtown. And the failure of previous councils to act should not force us to make the same mistakes, because for far too long, the residents have suffered. And we're looking for ways to improve the quality of life. And this is something that only the council can do. Nobody else can come in here and make this decision for us. And you keep on kicking that can down the road, and the costs are only going to increase every year. So saying that our people are not worth it.
I am not saying that. You're just putting words in
I
my mouth.
I didn't say anything about you.
Right now.
I didn't say
You just said
anything
that.
about you, Mayor.
You just did that.
I did not say. Did I say, Mayor? Did I address you? I looked in your direction just like you're looking at me right
You
now.
just said it and looked at
Okay,
me.
thank you, sir. back to my point though, is that the citizens are worth it. They are worth spending the money. They are worth making those hard decisions. And the longer you kick the can down the road, the longer you're not going to have a nice Main Street. The longer you're not going to make these improvements to make that district a safer one, make all those crossings a safer one. So as far as prioritizing stuff, I mean, you can still keep it in queue. You can still have meetings.
Is there 18 trains per day? I think that's awful high.
Federal Railroad Administration says there's 20. This
I
map
don't-
is.
I know there's a lot, but I live right next to it. I don't hear them.
Because we've gone numb to them, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Another issue, there's some safety issues that says it sounds nice, closing, having no train horn. Okay? So some kid who's on his phone walks in front of a train or something. So I would really, I mean, it's not just as a citizen, I would really want to make sure that this is the route we want to go because, people now are way more distracted than they were when I was a kid,
Just because you have a quiet zone chief does not prevent the engineer of that train from blowing their horn. If you, I mean, that's part of the program is that the trains, it doesn't take the horns off the train. If they see somebody on the tracks, they're going to blow the horn.
Right.
They also have a directional horn that you can put that just shoots down the street on the crossings.
The initial sounding is what's removed. And I can state 3 cases where there's been deaths due to the train. Have you had any citizens come to you and complain?
Complain about the train line
Residents that actually live in the area of the railroad track.
all the time.
They have?
Yes,
People that
sir.
live have complained about
People
the
that
noise?
live in this city have complained.
No, I'm talking about the people that live along Railroad Street, by the park, anything that's adjacent to the railroad.
I mean, part of that's not even my district. If you want me to walk it, yeah, I'm sure we will have a conversation. We find somebody.
But no, it's just the question was, have you had anybody come to you?
You know what?
that's lives off of that street.
I can't say that anybody that lives on Railroad or Adams has said anything.
And the thing is that if you look at Lido, the railroad is Lido. That's part of Lido, and I think we should look into this, but it would be to me, it would be extremely dangerous to remove horns. So my question was to you, this quiet zone, does it require the complete elimination or can it be a reduction in the horns?
No, you can
Like
have
said,
you
directional.
can have hourly thing. You can have it quiet from the hours of 10 to 7, for example, overnight. You can any time that you set up. It's up to us. It's
Can
our
we reduce
choice.
the numbers? So you said there was 3 sounds per train coming through.
There's 4 per crossing.
4?
15 to 20 seconds before the engine reaches the crossing. That's when they start sounding their horn.
So could that number be reduced? I
No,
mean,
that's
based on what you've been researching.
that's a federal regulation.
Okay, so that
So
sounds
it's-
to me like it's all or nothing.
I don't know. I mean, all or nothing is the correct way to do it, but I mean, those safety mechanisms are in place, and the only way that quiet zone is going to be able to be fully implemented is if we bring it up to the standards that they require.
Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. So before we go, we can continue, but we have a motion and a second for us to go ahead and continue on this item.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion.
Okay.
I would move that we have the council directs the city administrator to look in to taking the necessary steps to begin the initiation process of a railroad quiet zone in the city of Lytle.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Motion doesn't carry forward. Anything else? Do I have a motion for,
Mayor, I want to make a motion to take no action on this item.
got a motion for no action? Do I have a second?
I'd second that.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Go ahead and show 3 yays, 1 nay, 3 yays. Go ahead and show Paula, you know what to do with the reporting the council members and the one nay from Charles. Okay? Okay. I appreciate that, council. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 8, executive session. The City Council, City of Lidle may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultations with the attorneys, Section 551.086, meeting concerning municipality-owned utility competitive matters, to discuss and consider the following items. A, discuss options regarding the operation and maintenance of the city natural gas utility. Paula, if you can show us, it's 8:28, us going into executive session. Council, if you can please join us in the back. Zach?
I have a question. What exactly is the competitive nature of selling our gas system? That's for Molly.
This would be a discussion as to legal options related to that as well. A consultation with attorney as to where the contract is and what options you have related to that.
So it's not a competitive matter then?
It could be both. It could be a discussion about the sale and the cost of the sale.
Okay. So 8:29 now. Go ahead and show 8:29 us going back there. Zach and Molly, if you can please join us in the back. I appreciate that. You got us back on?
Yeah, you're good.
So, okay. So we were on mute during that whole time? Zach? We were on mute? Okay, got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and show at 9:02. Actually being back in session. And just to make it official, Paola, if you can go ahead. I know you put it in the notes, but on the recording, Alderman Kate left before we went into executive session. Okay. So, all right. So basically, we came out of executive session. There was no action that was taken in executive session. Council, let's go ahead and move on to number 9. And this is a discussion and possible action regarding matters discussed in executive session. And it's A, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, providing notice and ordering an election and establishing procedures for the said election to be held on Saturday, May the 4th, 2023, authorizing the mayor.
24, Mayor.
I'm sorry, 24. Thank you. Authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint election agreement with Medina County to conduct the election shall be for the purpose of submitting the qualified voters of the City of Lytle, Texas, proposition to approve or reject giving authorization to the City Council of the City to sell the natural gas utility distribution system owned by the city, providing other matters related to the election, providing a severity clause, and providing an effective date.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay?
I move that we establish an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, providing notice and ordering an election and establishing procedures for said election to be held on Saturday, May 4th, 2024, authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint election agreement with Medina County to conduct the election. It shall be for the purpose of submitting to the qualified voters of the City of Lytle, Texas, a proposition to approve or reject giving authorization to the City Council of the city to sell the natural gas utility distribution system owned by the city, providing other matters related to the election, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries forward with yeas, 3 yeas. Okay. Thank you, council. I appreciate the time and I appreciate everybody for the patience for us to go ahead and take care of that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item number 10, and this is the department reports. And the first one that we have is going to be the Animal Control Department.
Of course, we don't have a director yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of this for this month.
Okay.
For January 2024, we set 3 traps. We euthanized 0 animals. They had 21 calls, 1 animal surrendered, 2 animals were returned to their owners. They transferred 25 and had 16 intakes. We did have 4 adoptions. A total count for at the end on the 31st was 33 dogs and 6 cats. We do have a pet adoption coming up on February 12th. Never mind, we already did it. That was last Saturday. But y'all did see that. It's the last one I talked to Melinda at 2 o'clock on Saturday. They only had adopted 1. I don't know how many actually got adopted total, but I'll check with them. That was some pictures from the spay and neuter event. That turned out to be a very, very busy and a successful day. Some of the adoptions that we had, this was not just the 2, but some that from the following month, that pictures that finally came in. So these are some of the transfers that were taken up. This dog was really questionable. That he belonged to someone at Lakeshore, and then every time that they would send him home, he would jump the fence and come back to animal control. I don't know, but he would just stand at the front door and wait. So it was
what's the term? I know that they have adoptions, but then they have other program where you can take them home, foster. Yeah. So I know we also had we had some fosters also. We have some folks in the local area that foster some. So, just so you know.
Yeah, I will say for those two girls working over there, they have done a lot. They are putting in a lot of hours and a lot of time and doing a really good. I don't know if any of you have been out there, but the facility looks good. It smells decent inside for a kennel, and everything is super organized where you can walk in and find anything very quickly. That was two of the pit bulls that we were able to take to, I can't remember where they went, but the pit bulls are very, very hard to rehome or adopt out because they're considered aggressive dogs. And Melinda was able to find somewhere for these two to go. So it was a real good. So, and that's all for them.
Council, any questions? Okay.
And we did push, just so you know, the yard sale is going to be held in the early summer.
It'll be good. Cassandra. All right.
Okay, so we had 92 computer users and 89 kids computer users. And 1,606 checkouts for January. There was 55 Simply E users and 27 loans. That's still goes slow going, and they told us they're going to change the app, so I got to start letting patrons know that they're going to update it. But I don't know if it's going to happen this year or next year. And the monthly stats, okay, we had 8 new accounts and 29 renewals, and April made 22 library cards. We still have story time, and we have that on hold right now to finish up the reference room, but we've done everything else. And curbside is still available. And those are the calendar for January. And then those are our displays. Okay, the top one was staff picks on the left, and then the next one was hobby. And on the bottom had 2. It had soup month and tea month, and then we had Winnie the Pooh day. And we did it for the kids for story time. So
Good. Good. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay. Thanks, Cassandra. Appreciate it. Let us know if you have anything that you want us to push through social media or anything, okay?
All right, well, we're starting out a crochet group. We're testing it out to see how it's going to work. They're going to meet this Thursday, but we're going to see. It's only beginner right now, beginner to advanced. Everybody who knows how and who already knows how. So
Okay.
we're trying to see how this works.
Get some knitters.
Well, let us know. Let us know. We can send it out through social media, okay? Just give us a flyer with important information, okay? Robbie, our superhero. Yeah.
All right, we installed 15 new meters this month. We had 2 main breaks, replaced 5 meters, 1 service line, replaced a washer. Service line, I think we had 1, 17 rereads. 1 main sewer stoppage. Miscellaneous, we just had gas service.
Was that sewer stoppage, Robbie? Was that the white piece again?
Yeah, here, yes.
Yeah. Oh, here.
It's EMS, we're pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nobody here is using them, but Robbie said that it could still be coming up. So,
Yeah.
but nobody's using white piece.
We had it again today.
But it didn't look like white piece. It looked like grease.
Well, I wasn't here for it today.
Well, I was. And I went out there, it doesn't, there was no wipes in it. It looked like when baking grease gets cold, that's what it looked like. So it was,
I think we needed the whole system flushed or something, right? You never know. Okay.
Yeah. You go back down?
There you go.
There you go.
Wait,
No.
the water.
Whoa. Right there. You're right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
trying to get you out of here.
Oh. Then-
If you want me to go.
Okay, on the water usage reductions, we bought 796 and then minus the 302, so we're authorized to pump 493.
We
What we
used.
pumped for the month of January is 42 acre feet, almost 43. The SA pool and the calculator that he uses has not reset it, so that's why the number's high on the 585.37 for the year.
Okay.
which is the next one. So you see on the end date, it says 12/31/2023, and then the start date's 1/25/2024. So they haven't reset their number, so that's why ours is high right now.
So we're in stage 2 right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. We need to change the sign outside. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's just going by what, the San Antonio pool and then.
yeah, that's okay.
Do you, Robbie, sorry, do
No,
you
it's
get notification of that when that happens?
No, not really. No, but I could, once we start going on here.
We'll probably need to contact the Edwards. Okay. This month, cutting on pumps. Oh, we should be good. We're doing good. And let's just hope that we keep getting more rain, get our aquifer a little bit more, right?
And then with the cold weather on this month, everybody was running their water, so we're just going through it.
Yeah.
Keeping the pipes from freezing.
Yeah. You guys have done great. Appreciate it, Bobby.
Right.
Any questions for Bobby? Anything at all? Okay, just so council knows, we still have not gotten anything from the Railroad Commission or from any of the other agencies. We're still waiting to hear. So there's,
On well number 2.
Yes.
1, 2, and well 3 now.
Yeah, so-
I was gonna cover some of that in my.
yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, jumped ahead, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, before you step away,
Yes, sir.
I noticed that you worked on that leak that was up near the ball field,
Yes.
baseball field.
Yes.
The barricades are still up. You're done, right?
Yeah, we're done. It was
Okay.
just, it's real soggy, so we're just letting it dry.
Okay, good.
Before we remove the barricade.
Good, good, good.
Yeah, we took care of the one by the driveway, and then there was one by the baseball field.
Right.
So much.
And
No, we're-
I saw you put a little more filling in those.
Yeah, we were trying to fill in those potholes,
Yeah,
and all the holes around there. So.
it gets real bad. I think the water was causing some.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you taking care of it.
Thanks, Robbie. Great job. Pass it on to the team.
Hello again.
All right.
January.
Because I just got it working. Next time.
Jealous.
It's big stuff. We're not ready for it yet. It's big
Oh,
stuff.
I gotta go wrong way here.
Here we go, back to racial profiling.
Good point, sir.
That's something.
Okay, yeah, we don't need to get into trouble with that one.
Calls for service 205. That's all pretty standard there. Patrol activity about normal. Citations were up a little bit. So we issued 206 speeding citations, which is quite a few. Everything else was kind of just fell in there like normal, no insurance, motor vehicle registration. Nothing too exciting. There's just the data from January. We're just gonna go through that.
Do you have, okay, so I got to ask,
Yeah.
do you have to show it every month?
No, I put it in our report because it helps us keep up with it. Try to be I just do it as transparency.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I try to just, we got to do it anyway, so I just throw it in there.
Okay,
That's really the only reason.
got it.
Arrest, and see if there's anything there out of the ordinary there. That's just a guy stole HEB, some forgery arrest at the bank, some warrant arrest, DWI arrest, warrants, Bexar County thefts, warrants. And that's, like I say, nothing to, and then we had that forgery HEB that passed some bad checks, but that's where we made arrest on those two. No burglaries, criminal mischief. Let me see. I-35, a broken vehicle window. That was the one that probably got shot out. And then once that guy got arrested, all that stopped. Remember that? That was January 1. So it's been.
Yeah, but they never,
We didn't tie that one to it,
No,
but
but it was just during that time.
Yeah, it was during that time. So, concrete property marker damaged on FM 2790. I am not sure exactly what that is. Concrete. That'd be close to my mom's. She's 1926260. Property marker damage. I don't know. Couldn't have been too exciting though. Criminal mischief, a broken vehicle window at HEB. That was actually a guy who got mad at another guy over a parking space and broke his window out. Interesting.
Was it 19? It was 19.
19,300 is the general block numbers, probably HEB. 19,260 is over here as well. It's you're no, y'all are not, y'all are where y'all might be. Is that the library? So it's 19,260 going back this way. Wow, I didn't know that because I know where my father-in-law is 18,700.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't recall that one. But sometimes it makes them in there.
That is, yeah, that's the library. The library, it's in the middle of the street of the intersection.
So then it could have been but it could be over here as well.
The library.
Because if ours is 19, if HEB is 19,335, then we use we don't put the normally, we kind of use a block number 300 block. Okay. So it could be over here like Sonic or something. We had that skid steer taken from, that's a third skid steer taken from that job site out there, I think. Now, 2 of them have been recovered. That one I don't think we've recovered yet. Yeah. So that's one thing. When they have these big projects, we've also had skid steer taken from over here where they're building that truck stop. And sometimes it takes them a week or so to realize it's missing. So sometimes they have GPS on them, sometimes they don't. It's kind of weird. But what you're going to see as these homes are being built now in Rosewood, you're going to see some thefts because there's going to be a lot of people going there stealing lumber and stuff. You know, we made a lot of arrests over there at Saddle Ridge, but it's going to happen.
You guys can probably put a camera over there or something.
Well, really, I'm gonna put that on them because there's two different things, and I mean they can rent those cameras and have them monitored. Probably it might do just a little much for us to keep up with on a daily basis. Depends on how much trouble they have.
And then contact the
Yeah, they
911.
do that all the time. Yeah, they do that all. We had them when they were building Stripes. Did they have it? Yeah, they had one at Stripes. No, when they were building the hotel, Best Western had one, and they would call us and say, we got somebody just jumped the fence or whatever. So thefts, you know, HEB, it's all the same. Well, we caught him on the way out. Somebody else probably bought it. So anyway, there you go. But yeah, we got some. We catch them every now and then.
It's a meat and chocolates on the 6th,
Yeah.
6th of January.
Yeah.
Maybe they were planning for Valentine's,
Maybe
right?
so. I was surprised we didn't get stolen flowers. Had some liquor and then a bad check. Theft by check case. Found property, nothing too terribly exciting there. Oh, special events. Siren test. David went to Bluebonnet Children's Advocacy Center. Matt went to a grant workshop. Did that happen in January?
Yeah.
My gosh, it seems like it was a long time ago. And then he went to the Children's Advocacy Center disciplinary team. They had a meeting in Hondo. Department head meeting, management event. We had the water well issue, and then district attorney had a multidisciplinary teams meeting over there. David went to. They called a summit. I don't know what that come from, but it's a different way. Filed 6 subjects with 7 charges at the Atascosa County Attorney's Office, 1 and 1 at the judicial district, the felony level. No felonies in Medina County, 1 and 1 misdemeanor in Medina County. We had the period that ended January 24th. We had no overtime. We had 58.5 hours of vacation used. We had 38.5 hours of sick leave used, 40 hours of holiday leave used, and 8 hours of personal leave used. So with that, Little Red Schoolhouse fire inspection, barber shop. They're putting in a barber school. We looked at that, a fire inspection. Best Western System, we had an issue with the alarm over there. Linda's Trade Mart had something they were trying to work on in that metal building. Fire Protection Commission came down, did a compliance inspection, and we had, Matt had a development meeting. And then this is the letter from the Fire Commission. So our personnel are regulated by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, regulates all our peace officers. About half the department is also licensed by the Texas Commission on Fire Protection. So They both audit us. We both have to keep specific records and training. And that was from the fire commission that came by on the 12th or whenever and did a site inspection where they audit training records and policies that, kind of generic policies, but you still have to have them in place. And they make sure you've updated everything. So this just says, I'm pleased to report that no violations were noted following the compliance inspection conducted on January 12th, 2024. Well, it's good, but it's, it shouldn't be anything. But if they found a bunch of stuff, that'd be kind of cruddy. But anyway, we stay, we got it all. We got it. Everything's in order with that. And I think now they're coming about once every 2 years. The law enforcement commissions do probably sometime. They don't really give you a lot of time, but anyway, it's fine. Any more questions?
Under lost and found, how do you lose a firearm?
You leave it somewhere. Like maybe you're doing something and you think, I don't want to do this with my firearm. I'm going to set my firearm somewhere.
So it was outside of the residence that it was left?
So
yeah, it was left in
so
business.
yeah. So normally what you see is folks end up this from another agency, not in the city. I'm speaking of, but you'll have people that come visit. They go use the restroom.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And they walk away and somebody else finds it.
That's
So
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunate. That's where you normally see it. Hey, Richie, great job on the lead with the emergency sirens and Public Works. Robbie, thank you for your help with the sirens. I think we're month number 5 now, number 4, number 5. Yeah, that we've actually set them off, and all of them are working perfect. I mean, it's beautifully. So I hope we never have to use them, but if they do, they're all working. So it's good. And we still need one more. The one over. We're gonna buy the equipment to put it out at the sewer treatment plant.
Yeah, some got delivered.
Okay, so maybe we need to check on that. But yeah, we're gonna put one more. It's gonna be so it covers that more of that side of town. So it's gonna be on the sewer treatment plant. So that way, everything is gonna be covered at that point. But thanks for all the work. All right, Zach.
All right, so since I was sick last time when my report was due, I got December and January's on here because I figured might as well report for January since we're already in February. So, down. There you go. So on our CO, so obviously the streets and sidewalks for $1 million. The sidewalk grant is still kind of pending. They're still trying to figure some stuff out. We're working with Texton on that. But as far as the other street improvements, we have completed that. All the paving's complete. The retainer was paid out. I think that was actually in the bills to be paid this month. So we're good there, and we came slightly under the 594,000. So we're good on that. Here is the water and sewer, and obviously this is what I was referring to before. So this is kind of where each of the individual projects that TRC is working on. So booster pump station currently at 80%, complete on their plans. Elevated storage tank 75%. The 12-inch water main loop, we're waiting for a February 30% submittal. I'm expecting that in the next week or so. And that's kind of where those lie. And then 50% on the sewer plant expansions as well. So residential development. So Saddle Ridge, phase 1, obviously they're not, they're basically complete with what they're doing at this point in phase 1. Phase 6, 62 of the 72 homes are either completed or under construction at this point. And obviously we're still trying to address some street damages that were done on Huckleberry. It's our understanding that they're waiting for the full 72 to be done before they move into 2 and 5. Obviously TRC has approved all that. We've accepted everything, as far as that's concerned. So we're just waiting on them to finish up, and then they'll start blowing and going on homes in that area. Obviously 3, they're finishing up final review, TRC is, and then phase 4, y'all approved this evening for TRC to start working on. So as far as Rosewood, and these are pictures of actual homes out at Rosewood there. So they do have about 12. And actually, I drove through this weekend, and there are 2 or 3 sold signs already on some of those. So, so they're starting to get going. Obviously, we did do the January 30th. We had a big walkthrough. Robbie was there as well. So as far as the city side, we've accepted the streets for the most part. There's a couple punch list items that are needed, but before we bring it to y'all to fully accept, but they're pretty much done as far as the infrastructure is concerned. And we're continuing to get permits through. A lot of farms kind of in a holding pattern. There's nothing really new at this point. I actually spoke with Clay Binford, the attorney, today on some items. So, there'll probably be some stuff in the next couple months on that. Contracts. So these are just where our contracts stand, just so y'all are aware. Obviously, the 2 that are coming kind of up are the CPS Energy one for April. And then AT&T does expire this month, but as we've talked about and kind of move forward on the office phone portion of that, so we'll be able to cancel out that portion. And then Frontera and myself are still speaking about possible internet options going forward for all the city facilities as well. So that's going to be ongoing as we kind of continue, and we'll just be in that month to month until we figure that out. And then obviously the city yard maintenance was approved tonight as well. So code compliance. So this is for December and January, the dark blue being December, lighter blue being January. Hector's continuing to get out there and working with him on making some changes to some of our letters and notifications and things like that, so we can start cleaning up some stuff around town. Just updates. So on the left is just meetings throughout that December and January timeframe. And then on the right, so the new server we talked about this evening, obviously they're getting ready to get that going on February 28th. We'll be in place on that. I've received all the actual phones are in my office, and working with Frontera on identifying time to get all that squared away. But they're all sitting in boxes in my office right now. As far as Lakeshore, I met with them in really it was February, but they're at about 90% complete on that, and we should be seeing maybe in March an actual final report to council for that. I did also issue, just so to make council aware, for an RFP for construction management and inspection services, and this is to kind of back replace Reese's position in helping us when it comes to especially the new developments, and then just in general other city projects for inspection services. So I issued that RFP out, and I believe end of February is when they will be due, and so hopefully we'll have some consideration in March for council to select somebody on that. Well, Water Well 2, obviously we're continuing to flush, but we are waiting. We're kind of in a holding pattern on the Railroad Commission, as well as we are identifying some quotes so we can bring that to council for cammering that, as we've discussed in the past, but we're still waiting on some of that. 3, we're also waiting on quotes to actually cap that, as was suggested and ultimately could turn into a violation if we don't get that taken care of. So we're waiting on some quotes for that. And then 4, we're just continuing as normal. So
Robbie, how do you see well number 2 with the flushing now? Still the same? Yeah, pretty much the same. Haven't seen any changes or anything? Okay.
And then finally on there, the storage tanks, if y'all recall back in January, y'all approved to do the inspections for that, and they will be out tomorrow to do that. So getting that taken care of so we can get that off our books. Obviously, just lastly, human resources. So we have currently the animal control director position open. 2 applicants. We are the part-time animal control. Actually, we've scheduled interviews for later this week. So hopefully I can get that squared away and get some additional help. And then we do have 1 vacancy still in Public Works. It was originally filled, but in January, unfortunately, we did have to terminate the individual that had that position based on them not showing up to work. So and that's where we leave the open positions. I think that is it. Yep, that's it. Any questions?
Council? Anything? Zach, just want to say, hey, you're doing good. You're doing good. I know a lot of stuff trying to figure out and a lot of things being thrown your way. But appreciate everything that you're doing and kind of keep the ball rolling and stuff, especially for the city. We got a lot of stuff that has popped up here in the last month. So I appreciate your involvement and direction with that. That'll be good. All right. Anything, council, on that? Nada? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item number 11, and this is informational items. So I'll go ahead and start over here. Anything we'd
Nothing,
like to
Mayor.
go ahead and pass? Ola? Nothing. Actually, I do have a question. The elections, right? So turn in packets by the 16th. Okay. So we have the 16th. Anybody is interested or we have anything? Nothing? Nothing, Richie? All right. Richie is just, waiting for a zebra cake, but I'm sorry, brother. There's nobody's birthday, so no zebra cake today. He's a little disappointed. Yeah, but we do something different. We do something different. So, the back, AD, Cassandra, nothing, Robbie. There you go, Molly. Nothing. All right. Some things I wanted to pass on, and I know that Lynette started talking about it, but please, if you have a chance, stop by Animal Care and Control. Thank the girls if you can. They've been jobbing it, those two girls, and especially thank Melinda. She's actually stepped up tremendously and just make sure that things were redone and we're keeping flowing and everything else. So, and we keep hearing good things. So please stop by and do that. This morning we had a special event for one of our primary students, and that's Josiah. And wanted to thank PD for their involvement with that, along with other law enforcement. This is a young man that's had challenges from the time that he was really, really little. And he recently went through 2 major transplants along with some other treatments. And today was his first day. So it was pretty cool having everybody got the royal treatment with the police getting escorted and getting over there and just wondering what it was all about. But it turned out a great day, not only for him, but for the family. I think the family was very appreciative. So thank you, Richie, for your involvement in doing all that. I appreciate it. Along with Deputy Valdez, the SRO, I know he also helped out with making sure we coordinated everything. Hey, anybody know how the boys did tonight? I know they were playing. So our boys basketball team were playing in Catula. So it's the last game of the season. We know for sure that they are going to the playoffs. I think they probably ended up in number 2 slot for district, which will keep them moving. And it was a tight game, down south from here, which could have given them a little bit of a better push, but it's okay. They came back and really took on Natalia and made a nice little gap on there. I know Robbie's looking at me as like, but it was good. It was good. It was a good way to come out of that one loss, and they rebounded really good. So I'm hoping that today was good. Tomorrow, our girls basketball start their playoffs. They're going to be in Poteet. So be a little bit, but they're starting their by district, and they're still undefeated. And hopefully they keep going further. They're getting stronger and stronger as they get. So wish them all the best. If you have a chance, go out there. We also had Joshua Guerrera from the band. He went to state competition this weekend. Is there anything you can share on that?
Trumpet guy?
Trumpet?
No, they did their thing.
Yep. So be prepared. Probably in the next few meetings, we'll probably go ahead and recognize him since he went up to the state level. So we'll do what we normally do. And then lastly, just a reminder, 2 days from today, Valentine's Day. So don't forget. I know we get pretty busy. I can tell you, go over to H-E-B. They're fully stocked, but I don't know how quickly they go with some of that. But make sure you take care of your Valentine. Do a little bit extra and stuff. If you have any elderly folks that are near you, do something special. Go pick up some chocolates or something. Go stop by and be their Valentine. Give them a little surprise, and just wish them a good Valentine's. It's always good for people to know that they're being looked at. Oh, Richie wants chocolates. What? This is, you see. So now we know. Okay. So everybody's invited to take chocolates over to Richie's place. Okay. Just
What's considered elderly?
I would. What?
Now, I'm the oldest one in the room, and legally, I'm considered elderly. So, okay.
I'll bring some chocolates over.
That would be on Valentine's. The mayor brought it up. Okay.
I always, the people. Honestly, oh, look, you already got some right there.
All right. Thank you.
There you go.
Happy Valentine's.
Thank you.
The ones I always worry about, and we have a few of those residents that you normally just see them when they go out to check their mail. They go out to put their trash can, and even sometimes they're taking their trash can and they're having a hard time, taking their trash can out. There's a few places that I drive by and I'll see them and I'll stop and help out. So those are the people that, let them know, because honestly, for some unknown reason, there's not a lot of people around them. I think it's good for us to be able to show ourselves there, show a little bit of love, be able to take care of it. I know we are.
I do have one update.
Yes.
I have a typo where I added 2 lines together in this. I'm telling you, because I had to update the state website. No, this is different. That was just a typo. I had to update this, and I've already updated it on the state website. So it was a typo where something like 6,000%.
So we're good?
Yeah, it's fine. Now it's on the website.
Okay.
I meant to tell you that. If I take another comment.
Man, I'm telling you. Okay, any last minute information you want to share? Anything at all? All right. I show Paula was showing the clock. It is 9:39 right now. Can I have a motion for us
I'll
to
make that
adjourn?
motion, man.
Okay, got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll make the second, Mayor.
Okay, I got a second for us to adjourn. I was like, people are having way too much fun here. Okay. My goodness, this is a fun meeting today. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries forward. 9:39. There we go. Have a great evening. Thank you for all your help.